All right. Welcome to Practical Shooting Live. I almost said Casual Shooters Podcast. So in this case, it is Practical Shooting Live. And we are live. I am not at or in Marengo, Ohio, nor am I at Cardinal Shooting Center. However, Jay Slater is. Jay, I'm going to mute your stuff for right now because you're bleeding over. All right, there we go. Now, so the staff shoot is over. What I have on the screen is the Practical Shooting Competitor or Practice Score Competitor app. Before I get there, so Jay was running into some technical difficulties. Everything was working except for he could not hear me. The cable that was allowing him to hear me while he's flying the drone wasn't working. So we were trying to work through that literally right up until the moment we went live. And then once he got it working, now he's got to get the drone up and in the air and stuff. So we will actually be bringing you live drone footage of the match. All right. And Jay will be on or in the scene, so everybody will be able to hear what he says. Any comments should be coming through the comment page there, or at least that's what I'm hoping. But right now I have Practice Score Competitor app up on the screen. We have the top 12 individuals from the staff shoot right now. And of course, as we would all expect, Joey Sauerland is leading the way at 100%. So, but it looks like, whoop, not what I meant to do. I believe he's shooting minor. Yeah, he's shooting minor. So, looks like he has, at this moment, he has a bunch of stage wins. However, looks like he had a hiccup on 4 and 12. He had a mic on 12 and a mic on 1. So who knows what happened there? We'll probably get some more details of the stage when we talk to Jay. So right now, Carry Optics, Corey Bales has the interim lead. That's what I'll call it, the interim lead. At 1:30, they start the actual match for the rest of the competitors. So at that by this evening, we'll know really. We'll get an idea of how the picture is starting to change. So Leif Kunkel is second. So I'm not familiar with Corey Bales. Maybe Jay might be. I am not. So we'll have to wait for him to see or talk about this gentleman. There's Joey there. He's at 100%. Next closest person right now is at 44% of Joey. Limited Optics. Looks like Michael Norman Bates is your leader at the moment after the staff shoot, with Cody Menard in second and Mango Mike Banana Hammock Palecte in third. So, yes, I'm adding names to people's names. So I'm trying to be a little humorous here. Trying to burn a little bit of time until Jay comes back on. Let me unmute him so at least I can hear him. All right. Let's go to open. Let's see what we got here. Oh, looky there. Alex Mansfield is on 100%, and KJ Lane, not to be confused with Kaylee Lane, is in second. So there's a whole lot of people left to shoot, though. So that will definitely change. PCC. Aaron Brock, I'm guessing. I don't know. I may have just murdered his name, but looks like only 3 people shot PCC for staff match, and there are 23 total registered. So we'll see who all shows up to shoot the match. Production, there's only 12 registered to shoot, and only one person shot the staff shoot in production. So he is leading. He is your leader, John Herdering. Revolver, there are 2 registered to shoot. Jay has already shot. And Mike Shaw, who is a um, master, maybe he'll give a little bit of competition to Jay. That would be good. Little revolver competition never hurt anybody. And then in single stack, you have 6 people registered. 3 people have completed the course of fire, with Brad Crum in the leader spot. So I can see Jay is warming up the drone. Looks like he's going through the settings, getting everything ready. So we'll go back to the combined results, and all we're waiting for is Jay to get that thing in the air, and I'll change scenes. Once he gives me the thumbs up that he's ready, we can bring him into the broadcast. You guys don't have to sit here and listen to me the whole time. That would get boring quick. But this is our first major match of the season. So we appreciate you guys watching. And it looks like he has launched. So I'm going to go ahead and switch scenes. And you are looking at live drone footage, first ever in the history of practical shooting live. And I don't know of anybody else who's doing live drone footage. I'm not talking recorded, I'm talking live drone footage. So there you go. I don't know which stage this is. So see if I can. Still waiting for. Once Jay's ready, he'll unmute his stuff, and then we can get going. Because Jay is not a speaker; he's a collaborator. So he also has his own controls over audio and whatnot. Let me see if I can look at. Where is the match book? There it is. Let me see if I can figure out which stage this is based on. I do remember seeing that. I don't remember which stage it is. It's not 1. It's not 2. Not 3. 3 is like a V. 4 has 3 different shooting boxes. So does stage 5, but they're triangular shaped. The Y is stage 6. So this is this might be 7. This is 7. So this is stage 7 at the Buckeye Blast. So this is a 14 USPSA 5 steel, and I hope you guys looked at Jay's walkthroughs. They're on the same channel, but he gives an aerial view and he highlights all of the targets, and then he gives you a ground walkthrough so you can see what those same targets look like from the shooter's perspective. So it's 33 round Comstock, 165 points, assuming nothing changed from the matchbook to the actual stage on the ground. Best 2 per paper. You got to stand outside of the shooting area, wrist below belt, feet touching the start zone, which looks like it's going to be right there where the gentleman in the black shirt is standing. Let me go a little bit bigger. There we go. Yeah, you can see right there. That's the start position for stage 7. It's like a big U. Looks like they're going counterclockwise. Basically, everybody's going counterclockwise. And we lost Jay. Holy guacamole. All right, so I'm going to go back to this stage for a moment. So there, oh, all right, you guys may just have to deal with some blank screenage if that happens. It's just easier not going back and forth. That would get annoying for you guys. So I am going to let me come over here. So this is their walkthrough. So this is the afternoon. These are the first competitors, other than the staff, to shoot this stage. First shooters of the day. And I believe they're supposed to go live at 1:30, which makes sense that they're doing their walkthrough now, being that it's 1:26 p.m. and they are in the Eastern time zone as well. So no loss of time there. The old slug line. Everybody's in it. Jay, if you can hear me, is there a way to put the drone on the other corner, like directly opposite of where you are, and look back to the right instead of the left? All those, yeah. I think that's a better view because of the walls. Yeah, there we go. That's good. Now we can see all those targets on the right and the targets on the left. So perfect. Well, hey, at least Jay can hear me. That's a positive. As you guys can tell, it is freaking windy there. Jay and I were talking earlier, and I thought his tent that he was under was gonna fly away. So we're just waiting on these first guys to finish their walkthrough and then begin their first shooting of the day. They should be, let's see here. I need to find out who is shooting. Oh, there we go. Stage 7 first. Friday. Stage 7 is Squad 107. All right, let's see who we've got in Squad 107. Squad 107. We have John Romanowski, Michael Billings, Kevin Korkmaros, Vinny. Why do I get stuck having to pronounce all these names? Vinny Diarman, Zach McGowan, Ryan Wang. Oh, I just scrolled too fast, way too fast. Tanner Dangies, Nick Catanzarito, Jacob Wang, and Benjamin Essex, Drew Kelly, and Chris Webster. So now Tanner is fresh off a limited optics win at Delmarva. So, I'm going to guess that he's going to be at least third. Let's see here. Catanzaro two, maybe fourth. You've got to unmute yourself, Jay. Okay, he's offline now. He'll be back in just a second. 2, 3. So it looks like there's 3 people in front of Tanner, so he should be fourth on that stage. Let me go back here. Okay, so yeah, it is officially a 33 round, 165. I know there's a way to pull up the squad number, but let me try squad. I think that's it. There we go. So yeah, Tanner Dangus is going to be fourth on this stage. So that'll be you can see here are all of the names now. Is Ryan, I've got Ryan being a limited optics A class shooter. So I'm guessing that's correct. Now, Jay did a little bit of research with his software, and it's interesting because Tanner Dangus is a very high percentage alpha shooter at 80, basically 83% alpha. So I say very high, but I'll say high, not very high. I would consider very high like 90% or higher, but he's in that high range. So he's definitely a make sure you get your points guy. He's a Team Monsoon guy, maybe Team Atlas as well. So we'll have to figure that out. He edged out Kevin Garospi and David Wampler at Delmarva for the win. I say edged him out because at the moment I don't know let me see what the margin of victory was. I can tell you in just a second here. Overall, let's go down to limited optics. So, oh yeah, edging is is the appropriate word because he edged out Kevin. Kevin was second by 2.2 points overall out of 1345. Kevin was 1343. David Wampler was 1340. So there was only a 5.6 point differential between first and third. And when you're talking over 1,300 points, that's very close. And then you had Peyton Garcia was fourth at 1328. So there was only 17 points between first and fourth for limited optics at Delmarva. So that was a very, very tight race there. Okay, it seems like we have lost Jay for the moment. So there's no feed that I'm seeing at all. If we go back here, yeah, he's lost connection. So we're going to hang out right here for a moment. Let's see what else we've got here for Squad 107. It's interesting with Jay's software, the analyst software, because he can go in and search people and come up with their competition shooting history. Like the gentleman Chris Webster so your final shooter of the squad, Jay is saying this is the first time he's appeared in his data. So this could be his very first major. Drew Kelly, on the other hand, he is a Carry Optics A class shooter. This is his fifth major. He's got 44 previous stages. He's a Michigan, Ohio guy. Solid middle A class, finishing in the 20s and 30s, historically in the mix for A class wins. So, good competitor. Should be interesting. Let's go to Benjamin Essex, who on here it says Carry Optics A class. That's what we have on the other data as well. This is his fourth major. He's top two. He has two top 20 finishes at Area 5 and Michigan Sectional. He has two A class wins and one near miss. His average class percentage finish is 99.9%. So there you go. As Jay put a note in here, clearly on the way to master. He's doing very well. He's at the very high end of his A class. Let's see. Okay, we're still waiting on the feed from Jay.
Before I go back out, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
I assume you hear me. Or not. Okay. We'll go back to that. I assume you guys can hear that when Jay and I are talking, because he was in the scene at the moment. I can't. I'm hoping that the chat box is right here. Okay. Guys, I'm just checking the text box stuff to make sure, the chat box, to make sure all that's good in case you guys have comments. I want to make sure that they pop up, because I cannot see. So Lord Manhammer did have a comment, but I haven't seen it come up on the chat box. I don't know why. Not quite sure. Oh, because that was a comment, not a chat. That's why. You know what? I'm going to throw up a quick test chat, and let's see if it comes across in the chat box. Okay, perfect. Well, almost perfect. So you guys get to see this live as I check on this. We're gonna make those size of the comment a little bit bigger. There you go. You guys got to see that firsthand as I corrected it. Okay. So we know the chat box works. If you want to use the chat box, you can. It will pop up. So again, thanks guys for being on here. Jay was just on and popped back out. So we're just waiting for him. He's throwing the drone back up in the air. And then we'll have more live drone footage. Okay. Unfortunately, we're going to miss Tanner's run. So it's, well, maybe not. Nope. It doesn't look like anybody has shot the stage yet. Yeah, it doesn't look like anybody has shot. I'm surprised. I figured they would have already been shooting. So all right. As in the Practice Score Competitor app, nothing's updated here for Squad 7. So it should be updating as soon as their scores go in. I hear you, Jay. Do you hear me? Okay.
Just got to get the drone back up in the air and we should be good to go.
Okay. I'm hoping that your audio is coming across.
As long as I'm on stage, I think I should be for the audience.
And you are. So, well, he was. He was just on for a second. There you go. In and out. Folks, you're seeing the challenges of live drone coverage.
Oh my God!
As it happens. I hear you.
Did you? Okay, good. Okay. I was going to say you worried me there for a second. All right.
Well, the live feed is lagged quite a ways behind what we're doing, so it's interesting.
Which part is?
The
What's on Rumble or?
Yeah,
Okay, that makes sense.
it does. There's going to be a lag.
So
Have they
we're very
actually?
nearly.
Has anybody started shooting? Ah, there we go. There's a chat.
Yeah,
You're
we,
welcome.
we had we had a couple shooters go. I saw somebody in an Atlas uniform. I forgot to go and get a picture of the tablet, which I should probably do before we get too much deeper into the order.
Well, and I've got
We'll what?
I've got Practice Score competitor app up on my one of my screens,
Oh,
Jay.
excellent.
So
So
yeah, so it
this
should
is
have been
squad 107. Yeah.
correct. So I don't know how many have shot, but it should be Michael Billings, Nick Catanzarito, Vinny DeArmond, and then
Catanzarito, yeah.
Tanner. Tanner should be fourth.
Well, yeah, I think we've probably missed him so far. I'm
Okay.
pretty sure we're 5 or 6 into the order now.
Well, poop.
Yeah, bummer. But like we said, that's the nature of new and untested live technology.
Of
Or
course.
I suppose untested makes us look a little bit worse than we are. New and not yet totally in the field live technology. We have looked at some of
Exactly.
this before, but this is the first time. Oh, we got our shooter up about to run.
Okay, yeah. So this should be Jacob. I don't know how to say his last name. Huang. There we go. He is live. Engaging the targets on the right. And limited optic C. Looks like he's shooting at the far steel. Yeah. It is nice having the audio, Jay. That's pretty good.
Awesome. All right, so I'm going to, while we're in between competitors, I'm going to go grab a picture of the squad list and hope that the drone doesn't fall out of the sky in the wind.
Okay.
All right, I'll be back in a moment.
What's up, buddy?
Let me. The weather forecast is lots of wind, apparently. Let me. Weather for Marengo, Ohio. Currently 71 degrees. Humidity 68%, wind 13. So that means that's a steady wind of 13. I'm not sure what it's gusting to. Let me click on that. Let's go Friday. Come on now. 15 miles per hour at 2 p.m. I'm trying to. Ohio and Pennsylvania has a severe thunderstorm watch in effect until 7 p.m. this evening, too. So, all right, let me click on the Weather Channel's information here. Yeah, it just looks like wind at 15 miles per hour out of the west-southwest. So very windy. Like I was saying earlier, I don't know if you guys. Go ahead, Jay.
Pretty sporty indeed as the wind goes. And so you are correct. That was just Jacob Huang who went. We've got Ryan Huang now making ready.
Okay.
Yeah, let's take a look at his run as he gets ready to go.
Jay, give us
Looks
some
like a couple of
insight.
yeah. So
What's
this
the distance to those steel targets back there?
it's probably a good 20 yards from the shooting area. So it's
Okay.
among the more challenging among the more challenging shots in this match. Definitely one, especially so on the plan that Ryan ran. You see him running up the right side of the stage, taking all those open targets, and we'll swing around to get a better look at that. So you've got
Okay.
open targets in very obvious position to take those on the move on the way up the side, and you've got to change gears very quickly from that high speed shooting on the move to a very steady, very good trigger pull, very cautious. Well, maybe not cautious, very deliberate shooting on those far poppers. So, for me in Revolver, of course, the round counts. The round count makes that plan a little bit less attractive. I ended up actually taking the first two open targets on the right side, then shooting across the stage to the left to cut out some positions at the end. But in high cap, the plan Ryan ran makes a lot of sense. It keeps you moving. It gets you deeper into the stage as you deeper in the stage faster.
That's interesting because his brother did exactly what you said. He shot the first target on the right and then swung left, shot that far target, and then went forward.
Yeah, coming up, looks like we have Drew Kelly.
Carry Optics A class. Here we go. All right. Looks like he's in position, waiting for the command. Almost. There we go. Oh, so he took the far left first. Woo-wee. Yeah, that left front corner is a better spot, Jay.
Yeah, it seems like you can see more of the stage that way. So there's kind of like a maxim in the sport. He who controls the steel controls the match. And I think that's definitely the case here.
Yeah.
One of the things about this Buckeye Blast, there is at least one steel target, I believe, on every single stage. So you've got to be confident in calling your shots and getting your hits even on the hard stuff. Yeah, I will say also that this stage in particular is one of a couple that's a bit of a planning test. In the front of the stage there are a bunch of targets fairly close in. Let's see if I can run the dials well enough to get in on this. So you've got this whole section right here where you've got targets sort of facing you. They're all open. They're all through little ports in the wall, and keeping track of which one you're shooting at what time. It's very important to get your visualization reps in so that you can run that part without having to think about it consciously.
The other thing from that other angle, Jay, I couldn't tell that there were multiple steel targets in that back left corner when you switch sides because they were stacked up against each other. Yep. Now I'm when that last shooter went, I was like, oh, was that Drew Kelly? I was like, oh, there's more than one steel target in that back corner.
All right, that was Drew Kelly up. So that means we should have Kevin Korchmaros up now.
Carry Optics A class.
Now, obviously, I guess we'll let him have his run in peace.
No golf talk. Okay, middle of a wall port. Now he managed that steal in the back left corner nicely.
Very much so. I got to switch batteries, so I'm going to bring the drone. I'm going to bring the drone down.
Okay. We're going to watch you.
Oh boy.
So now you guys get to see what it's like.
All right, in.
Yeah, Big Russ, I agree. This is going to be a very interesting PCC stage, and that is one of the groups that we plan on following. That Jay's got scheduled to follow. So it'll be interesting to see how well they do on those distant steel with the PCC. As long as they don't disrespect it, everybody should do pretty good. Thanks for the chat. All right, so we're gonna while he's doing that, let's give him just a second. I'm gonna switch scenes, guys. We're gonna go back to here for just a moment. I'm gonna. All right, so that was Kevin. As Jay was just saying, that was Kevin right there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So he's 8th out of 9 on that stage for Squad 107. All right, Jay's launched, so I'm going to go back. We're going to put the drone feed back up. There we go. You can see how quick Jay can bring the drone down, switch out the batteries. That's the DJI drones are nice because you can very rapidly swap batteries, turn it back on, get the props going, and launch it. There we go.
It's Zach McGowan.
Uh-oh. It's unfortunate. It looks like he had a little bit of an issue with the gun there.
Cardinal, with the wind and the kind of dust from the farm fields to the south of the bays, it can be a bit of a test for guns.
Yeah, I imagine so.
And I'm going to probably have to descend a little bit. I can't obviously send a picture of the drone on the drone, but it's in pretty much full back tilt, just trying to hold position against the wind right now.
Good Lord. There was an app.
It's a blustery one out here for sure.
Yeah, I'll have to look up the app, Jay. I don't know. I'll have to look it up. I'm not going to do it right now, but I have an app that allows me to see the wind speed at different elevations, like 30 feet, 50 feet, 75 feet, 100 feet, stuff like that. It's amazing just 100 feet off the ground how much stronger the wind is kicking.
Yeah, I've got I've got a very similar app myself. So looking at it right now, I see winds of 16 gusting 33 at 100 feet up, and I think it's probably more than that. Honestly, it feels like a good 20 or 25 mile an hour wind at my back.
Wow!
Of course. All right, I see a name on the back of a jersey, but I can't quite read it from where I've parked my car.
Should be Romanowski.
Plausibly, yeah. It's long enough.
Not Bill Romanowski, the San Francisco 49er linebacker. This is John.
Also, so there you have another rather a good example of controlling the steel, controlling the match. That was well, I don't know how it will end up scoring, but it did look smooth and in control.
It did. But you are right. You've got to be very deliberate on those back steel.
Yeah, if there's one skill I'd say was tested most at this, well, maybe two. You have probably throttle control and positional shooting. That's what I think we saw the most out of this.
Okay.
So I remembered now as we get to the end of this first squad of the day that I did a little spreadsheet last night that's got a bunch of interesting information about each shooter, stuff I pulled out of my major match elo, and I neglected to pull that up until just now. But coming up, we have Chris Webster, who, yep.
I was going to say I covered a bunch of that information on those other shooters for you.
Oh, awesome! Well, you were cool, excellent.
Yeah, and I told them that you did this. So,
oh, sweet. Yeah, Chris Webster coming up. Ironically, the thing that I have in the spreadsheet for him is this is his first appearance in my data.
And I said, so this could very possibly be his very first major match.
I believe it's likely, yeah. So I tend to do that by member number for a lot of people. If I see somebody who doesn't appear in previous majors and their numbers in like the 150,000s, I imagine they're first timers. I've got a couple of people who are appearing first or only a couple of times who have much lower numbers, and they, I imagine, may have shot beforehand. But it looks like Chris is about ready to go here, so we will take a look at his run coming up.
Hey, managed to steal well.
Yeah,
yeah.
Excellent shooting in the back corner there to get those done so cleanly.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, interesting. I think he's the only one I saw, and you know, with talking, I may have missed it, but he's the first one I saw that ran to the right and then turned left and shot the front targets on the far left side. But I kind of like it because you get that out of the way, and then you can just focus on everything on the right.
Yeah, so the did he take both of the back ones then from the front right, or just the no shoot partial there that just got pasted?
Just the no shoot.
Yeah, I think that's definitely the way that I would want to do it if I were running high cap.
Okay.
To make the round count work a little bit better, I took actually 8 shots more or less from the start. So I came back into the far right corner. I shot the very furthest up range. I took a couple of steps forward into that port. There's that open paper through the port on the right. Then I took another 4 shots going across the stage to this target right here, which you can see through the port, and then to the no shoot partial to make my first 8. I will say it looks like we have another squad coming up already, which is good news.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, good news, I suppose, for match flow. They are, I think, a full 15 minutes ahead of schedule for what the match had blocked aside for each squad. So we'll have to keep an eye on that, since that will probably affect the schedule going forward.
Yeah, and Chris Webster did have a good run on that. I mean, he's middle of the pack for the squad, so that's pretty good. He's the second. There was only one other B-class shooter that had a better score than him. So he did well on that one.
So definitely
good job to him.
Definitely off to a good start. Our Chris Webster for his first first appearance, I guess, in my major match data.
Yeah.
So I am going to try to probably bring the drone over and save some battery while this squad's doing their walkthrough. So. I
Okay.
may be able to, yeah. I may be able to. I'll rejoin in a second. I'm just gonna maybe put it on the roof of my car, and then I can use it as a static camera while we talk, while we wait for this next squad to get ready.
Okay, I'm going to switch screens while you do that.
Sounds.
All right. So I can still hear Jay in the background. So if I pause, you know what's going on. So Jay will be putting the drone back in the air momentarily. We'll do more live footage from the Buckeye blast. I'm not sure. You know what? I've got a schedule matrix over here. Let me see what we've got. So that was squad 107, as we have on the screen. You can see the results from them right here. Here's the entire squad we just watched shoot. And the results, as you'd expect, Tanner Dangus would be first. And then everybody down through. The last gentleman we were talking about, Chris Webster, as you see, is what, sixth? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, he's sixth out of the 12. So he's smack in the middle of the pack. But he did really well managing that steal. And I think the biggest thing is for someone who potentially could be shooting their first major to come in and shoot nice and steady. You just build his confidence after that stage one. Hopefully he doesn't become overconfident and then, try to push what his abilities are. But I think that's a great way to start his first stage of potentially his very first major match like that. That's very good. They are moving to stage 8 next. Go ahead. Okay.
Not lose anything over the edge of my car. It is, as we said, a very very windy day. I've got a little bit. It looks off to the south, and I'll have to keep an eye on the radar and see how that's going to do as far as getting past us.
Okay. All right. So you were echoing my sentiments about building confidence on that first stage, Jay.
Dave, I gotta actually calibrate the drone's compass because I set it on top of a car, which may not have been the wisest idea in hindsight. So that's gonna get a little bit swimmy. So I'll let you swap scenes real quick while I get that taken care of.
Okay. And with that, Jay is out of the scene. Okay. So this is squad. Well, this is squad 107, and they just shot stage 7. So I'm going to assume they're going to shoot stage 8 next. They're supposed to shoot that at 2:15, but Jay said they're running about 15 minutes ahead of schedule. So good for everybody shooting the match. It looks like, let me see. Yeah. Looks like they're shooting everything on what I would call, you have two halves of Marengo. The bays are split by a pistol range. So you've got bays to the left and bays to the right. They're on the right end of the range called zone 2. So it looks like they're going to shoot stage 8. Yeah, it should be 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12 is what I'm guessing. Yes. Not all the stages are on the sheet I'm looking at. That's why I'm having to kind of decipher some things. Sorry about that. I'm going to mute myself for just a moment. Maybe. I didn't need to cough in anybody's ear. So he might be doing squad 8. I think he's going to be doing squad 8, which should be on. All right, Jay. I'm gonna switch the feedback so you're on the stage and everybody can hear you talking. So you're staying at stage 7.
Pardon, you're kind of cutting it out there for a second on the
You're
audio.
okay. You're staying on stage 7 then.
Staying on stage 7, we're going to take a look at, I believe, squad 108. No, excuse me, 111.
Correct. It's 111. Okay.
Yeah, so we've got a number of interesting competitors on this squad. Chief
Ooh,
among them, I think
yeah.
we've got Keith Larkin. Should be shooting. Carryout's Grandmaster. He was actually his first major match was the 2024 Buckeye Blast. And it's not just a one division GM, he's a 3 division GM in limited optics, carry optics, and production.
Very nice. Yeah, I see you have down in the notes that he's traveled a bit too. Utah State, Carolina Classic, Maryland State, Delmarva. So it should be interesting.
So I suppose at Delmarva we've shot the same matches now the last 2 weekends in a row. He and I.
And Big Russ, if you're still in here, this will be your first opportunity to see a PCC shooter on this stage. So Jordan Kozer will be in there. So I'm going to change the squad here in Practice Score Competitor app. Oop,
I'm going to go get the stage list real quick. I'll be right back with the squad
okay.
list real quick.
All right. So I am going to. I'm going to have to mute Jay for a moment since he's not here. Whew, that's a lot of wind to constantly hear that. So you can see Jay, that's Jay walking. He's going to get a picture of the tablet so we know what order that everybody is shooting. Right now, Practice Score Competitor app just shows them in order of points and not necessarily um, alphabetical. But interestingly enough, I wonder if Keith Larkin made it to the match because I'll switch screens and show you he may not have made it to the match because you can see down here at the bottom. So everybody here has shot a stage except Keith Larkin. He's down here at 0%. He has nothing entered. As you can see over here, he's got nothing entered. It's not like he zeroed the stage. He literally has nothing entered for score. So he may not have actually made it to the match. That's okay. There's still a couple of other, if he did not, there's still a few others that Eric Stanley and Brandon Query that are master class shooters, one in limited optics, one in carry optics, multiple A class shooters. So this squad right here, 111, it's got quite a few, I'll say, high level shooters. So you have at least 2 masters and should have been a grandmaster, and then 4 or 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 A class shooters. That's a pretty solid squad. That means 8 out of 12 are A class or higher. So that's pretty solid. You have one unclass, a B class PCC, a class limited optics. And that's all I'm seeing. So there's probably more. 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's actually 5 A class. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Are there 12? 5. Okay, there are 6 A class. I just keep missing one of them. My mouse scrolls too fast sometimes. Okay, so there we go. But unfortunately, Keith Larkin may not have made it. That's too bad. That would have been interesting. I would have been curious to see how he shot that. See what plan he used and how well he managed those steel in the back corner. Let me throw Jay back up there. Jay, if you hear me, unmute yourself. I had to mute you because of the wind. Jay should be able to hear me. It's just the microphone that's muted. So you can see the first shooter's going right now. Oh, he's frozen. Yeah, Jay.
Yeah, I can't unmute myself. I'm not on my laptop.
Okay. Let me see. Well, shoot. I don't know why it's making me request it. I have to mute you when nothing's going on because the wind is so loud. The wind noise. All right, so that the first shooter? Was that
That was the first shooter.
So that actually should have been what? Chavez?
Yes.
Okay. So that was Joseph Chavez, and reading from Jay's notes, this is his first appearance in Jay's software. So again, A-class shooter, but nothing in the ELO information about him. So, and Jay had to call me. I don't know why. I should be able to unmute him myself, but it won't let me. All right, so this is our second shooter right here. Chavez was the first one. This should be Matthew Choi. There we go. He's got the start, engaging all the targets on the right. Oh, we've got a delay in the feed. There we go. So the weather is also messing with a lot of different stuff. They're having to deal with technical difficulties. It's messing with the range, Wi-Fi, and stuff as well. So the weather's really messing with everything. It's a good question, Big Russ. I don't know. So it looks like he saved that far target to the very end, whereas a lot of people are taking it from the front right, which is where I think I would have taken it as well. But I'm not shooting it, so I can't say. Hold on a second, Big Russ. Let's just do this. Let's hit refresh. And it looks like we have one. Sven Wagner was DQ'd. No idea why. So there you go. Now, whoop, dagnabbit. All right, there we go. We don't know how Matthew Choi did yet. They're still scoring it. We can refresh it in a moment. But I am gonna move myself over real quick, and we're gonna add a little context to this. There we go. Now at least you guys know what stage we're covering. Yeah, Jay.
guess this is how I'm gonna have to be on the stream for the moment.
Okay.
Yeah, I figure once this spot is done, or if there's a gap, I can go and unmute myself.
All right. That's probably something we'll have to figure out going forward. So this should be Anthony Della Pena. So Anthony Della Pena is your current shooter. Just handled the steal in the back right corner. Moving left. As you can see, there's stuttering in the stream. So it's hard really to tell how well he's shooting the steal in the back corners there. But he has completed. Oh, Jay's bringing the drone down, as you can see, live, bringing it down. So Big Russ, we'll have to ask Jay if he knows what the DQ is about. But I would say the fact that there's only been one is good. We'll know more at the end of the day because every stage would have been shot again by the regular competitors. So we'll see if any stage starts to show up. All right, so I'm going to switch back to this. We'll do some updating. There we go. So, Anthony Della Pena there had the second best run on that one, it appears. Yeah, there's been three shooters, I'm sorry. Joseph Chavez went first, then Matthew Choi, then Anthony De La Pena. We're just waiting for Jay to launch the drone again, and we'll go back to that view. So I think he may be trying to unmute himself. So we're going to have to, as you see, this is the first time we've ever actually covered a major match with live drone coverage. So some of that stuff, even though we did a dry run where he flew around in a parking lot, there are still things that we're going to have to work through as we go. And you guys are seeing some of that now, which no big deal. He's still muted, so he hasn't unmuted himself yet. For those of you who are planning to take a trip around the tip of South America, the Drake Passage is having a bunch of earthquakes. I'm not sure what's going on, but there you go. There's your news flash for the afternoon. All right. So the only thing about covering this stuff this early is the fact that there's not a whole lot of scores to talk about. Like tomorrow at this time, the Saturday squad, the only squad that's shooting all day in one day. Everybody else is shooting an afternoon, then a morning. There aren't a whole lot of scores to really talk about. By this time tomorrow, we'll have squads that are completely finished. The Saturday squad will be halfway done. The staff shoot is completely done. So now we have a lot more scores to really start doing comparisons and things to talk about in that regard. So that was Anthony De La Pena. Let's see what Jay had. So Jay in his ELO software was saying that Anthony, this was his second major. His first major was last year's Bluegrass match. And one of the notes that Jay put down was the flavor at Cardinal is much different than Bluegrass. So how is he going to manage the two differences? So I'd say he managed pretty well. So let's go down and check it out. Stage 7. 32 alphas, 1 Charlie. Time of 35.89 for a hit factor of 4.5417. So not terrible. Not terrible at all. Looks like his first stage was stage 12. So they're shooting 12, then 7, then 8, then 9, 10, and 11 in that order. So in his first stage, he did not do as well. Maybe it's a first major match stage, maybe his first major of the year. Could have had a little bit of anxiousness, wanting to push things. Ended up with 2 mics and a penalty, which makes me wonder if he had a failure to shoot at. That's my thought. My thought is he missed an array of targets. So he had 2 mics and a penalty for a failure to shoot at him. So don't know. That's just my supposition. All right, let's go there. All right, let's go back to squad 111. And Jay is back. So, all right, Jay, you hear me okay?
I do. Do you hear me?
Yeah, I do. And I think your drone is drunk. It just went up and landed again.
Yeah, so apparently in EVMux I have to give you permission to unmute me, which that's good to know for future events.
Yeah, the only way we can get around that is if you're a speaker and not a collaborator, but
yeah.
I would rather you be a collaborator than a speaker. So it may be something we have to deal with, and we figure something out.
Yeah, so like I said, I think there's a setting, a switch I flipped when I was back at my laptop that allows you to change turn me on and off both. And I will also just stuff my headset deeper into my car when I leave the when I leave the controller.
Okay. Oh, so I assume we probably
just had
missed Ham.
We just had the PCC shooter go.
Oh, okay. Yeah, shoot. Okay, Jordan Kozer. And Big Russ, Jay has notes on most of them, yes. Specifically the squads that he's following, he does have notes on. So like for this squad, he does. So with that, since Jay is...
Yeah, it sounds like a...
We're just waiting for the shooter to finish. This is where I want to see this like golf. You know, when you're watching a major golf event, as everything's dead silent. As soon as the golfer strikes the ball, you hear, yeah! Somebody always screams. That's what we need. We need that guy in the background. As soon as he fires his last shot, he just screams, ah!
Quick battery swap.
Okay, quick battery swap. So Jordan Kozer, the PCC shooter, Jay had down that this was his first PCC appearance in ELO, but he has 23 limited optic stages and 16 carry optic stages. So he dabbled in carry optics and limited optics, and also seems to be shooting PCC now. There we go. Yeah. Shot CO in 2023, limited optics in 2024, and knocking on the door of A-class and PCC this year. So there you go. That is Jordan Kozer. And those are rocks at Cardinal Shooting Center. I don't know if you've ever seen them before, but that's what they are. Jay is back up in the air, and you can see the weather in Marengo is quite overcast.
Actually, you can even see a little bit. We've got a little bit of rain going past the drone, which Aquapub is probably going to ground me. I'm getting pelted with some raindrops now. So sadly, we're going to miss this next run.
Okay. And Jay, while you're on this scene, it looks like Keith Larkin didn't make it.
I don't know. I don't know what it looks like off the top of my head, but
okay.
All right, so the drone can pop into the thing real quick. I'll can't quite get around in such a way that I can see it myself, but yeah, a little bit of rain looks like coming now. I may have to take my video transmitter down too because I don't think that's waterproof either.
Okay.
All right, look, yeah, little bit more. The transmission mast is coming down. I will be back on as soon as I can.
All right, Jay. We're going to switch scenes. There we go. Unfortunately, weather is Mother Nature doesn't always cooperate. So we'll have to wait till he either goes into a place where he can chat or he can launch the drone back up. So that's where we stand at the moment. But yeah, Jay had notes on most of the shooters. I've got notes here for squads 101, 102, 107, 108, and 111. Looks like he's still working on this stuff for 101, which has Ike Starnes, PCC Grandmaster. So I'm trying to see if there's anybody else in there. I've seen the name Daniel Feltyberger quite a bit. He's on that squad. So squad 102 is Isaac McLaren, Adam Radling, Jason Parks, David Burton, Mike Shaw. He's the revolver shooter. I said, hopefully, at least there will be something to compare Jay with at the match. Or for Mike, it gives him a revolver grandmaster to compare himself with. So, but yeah, so this squad right here that we were just talking about. So after Kozer, should have been Kenneth Krill. Let's see what. Okay, that's the one person in the squad Jay didn't have any notes on. So just a production A shooter. That's all I know. So John Mason, he was still to shoot. He's a limited optics B class shooter, and first time that he showed up in Jay's ELO rating. So Jay goes by member numbers. So that could be somebody who has either not shot any type of major matches. Maybe they were just a local shooter, just got a membership so they could shoot majors. Who knows? So I know I keep pausing. So just so you guys give you a better idea, I can hear Jay in the background, and at the bottom of my screen, because I'm on a laptop, I can see Jay's window. So when I see like the drone footage start or something, it catches my attention, and that's what I focus on, and so it stops my train of thought. Obviously, I'm hoping that he's able to launch the drone back, and it looks like he's getting ready to. The drone is on the ground. So so yeah, it looks like he might be trying to launch the drone again. So the drone footage is, there we go. He's back in the air.
Yeah, just a brief shower that passed through real quick. It's difficult to tell with the way the weather is around here, whether it's going to turn into like a...
Yeah, you can see the technical difficulties with the weather. So, Jay, yeah. Do you have any idea who that was?
Pardon?
Any chance that you know who that shooter was that just went through there?
You're kind of in and out on the audio there. Let's see if I can maybe fix that by some maneuvering. So I know the drone and the video transmitter are kind of competing for the same frequencies, and with a little luck, maybe I can get them to crosstalk a little less.
Okay. Any idea who that shooter was? Do you have any idea?
I don't know off the top of my head.
Okay. Yeah, we've totally lost the order here. I have no idea
it's
where
tough,
we are.
Tough when we're up and down like this.
Yes. Oh my goodness. You know those digital readouts that give you the time for the shooter time for the stages?
Yeah.
We need one of those that before they start shooting, it flashes their name, and then you get the time.
Oh, that'd be great.
It would be great.
I know I've talked briefly with Eugene at Practice Score about ways to enhance this kind of coverage, and one of the possible is figuring out some way of getting scoring data from the tablet to somebody like us, which would be really just delightful. I feel like.
Yes, that would be awesome. Well, it looks like we got somebody ready to go.
Solid on the steel there to close out that stage.
Oh, there we go. I was muted, so I had to mute myself. So, yeah, that's a good way to close it out.
I do wonder. Seem to be getting a little bit more interference on the radio. I'm going to see if I can get my transmitter up a little bit higher, and hopefully, there we go. I think maybe might have you a little bit better now.
Yeah. I mean, I hear you fine.
Yeah. So as a little technical note for those watching the broadcast, we've got slightly different channels, kind of going back and forth. The wireless video transmission system we're using has an intercom attached, and I've got my laptop over back at the Red Feather here at Cardinal, plugged into that intercom, and I'm listening on that end while Dave's just listening to the audio on my drone camera feed. So I guess the transmitter probably prioritizes getting the video back as opposed to getting the audio back and forth when it's got limited bandwidth. But I think by putting my my tripod here up another leg, we've got a better connection now.
All right, this should be Brady Strunk, A-class production shooter. Oh, no, I'm sorry, A-class limited optic shooter. I was looking at Eric Anderson. Yeah, I'm going to say Keith Larkin didn't make it.
That's a shame.
Agree.
So coming into that last position, the second to last position, you could see that he had to shift his upper body a bit as he missed his mark. That, of course, is another hallmark of this match, the highly positional nature, the fact that you've got to be very, very intentional about where you put your feet to make sure you've got a view on the targets you want to hit.
So Jay did, and I'm not asking which ones. I'm just in general asking a question. Were there stages where you had to almost look down to make sure your feet were in the right place as you were coming into position?
So for me, it's usually more I'll kind of take a glance at it as I'm going down for a reload, since that's typically what happens when I'm moving between positions. But it is that sort of thing. You're
Okay.
picking your mark either on the ground or you're looking at a target through a wall, and when you can see that target, you know you're in the right spot. That's actually so
Gotcha.
on my plan when I ran this stage. That second target on the second most uprange target on the right, that open one you can see through the port in that first wall on the right.
Yep.
Once that target was once its shoulder was up against the downrange end of the port, I knew I was in the right spot to hit that one and the two shots I wanted to take across the stage.
Okay. So that means that'll bring us to our last shooter, which would be Eric Anderson, and he is the A-class production shooter. It looks like no. I'm going to guess they
I'd love to see
have
the production guys out to shoot.
uploaded the score. Let's check. They sure did. All right, he's on the mark. He's in the batter's box. Oh, doing his last visual. Yeah, that front right to back left steal seems to be getting some people, as well as the
For
steal
sure,
on the
it's
right.
definitely a challenging shot, especially after you're coming across the front of the stage, moving pretty quickly.
Right.
And depending on what you've left for yourself at the end of that stage, you might be coming off of two relatively close open targets onto those far steel. So definitely one you've got to be very attentive to the quality of sight picture that you need.
That makes sense. So that should be it then for that. That means two squads have already shot. And what it's 3. Yeah, they're like 20. This squad's like 20 minutes ahead.
Yeah, I believe the first squad finished in about half an hour. The second one is looking at about 35 minutes or so.
Okay, the men, they are moving them right through there, getting them in and getting them out. That's a
Especially on a
that's
day
a
like
good
today.
RO squad.
For sure, we got guys like Joey Sauerland out there, Michael Norman. It's a good crew.
Joey's. Oh, is Joey on that stage?
Yeah, as you can see him there, right there.
Okay, he's probably yelling motivational stuff to him. Move faster, move faster. You can move faster.
Yeah.
If I can do it, you can do
nice
it.
to see. It's always nice to see people like competitors of that caliber coming out and staffing matches too. It's it's nice both from the from the perspective of volunteering, but also from the perspective of when it's somebody of that caliber, you kind of have a good sense that they can see quick enough to make the calls, to make the right calls.
Yeah, well, and I mean, you don't see many. How many national champions have you seen that work a match?
Not a ton.
No. So when I first saw him in the squad matrix, I was like, oh, he's shooting the match early. And then I went and I saw the actual list of staff, and I was like, holy cow, he's actually part of the staff. He's going to be running a stage. That's awesome. Because I think
Joey's a fairly common staffer, I feel like, in the Area 5 match sort of setup.
Okay.
Yeah. Which, again, it's more power to him.
That's respectable because I feel like being staff and shooting staff day is more difficult than being a competitor and shooting the match in a competitor mode.
Yeah. Well, I think that just about brings us to the end of the this first live segment we had scheduled. Before we go, I think we'll do a little quick tech demo. So you can see on screen now me waving up at you in the on the drone. On top of my car here is a little video transmission system, and if we
that's the pistol range I said that separated the two zones.
Yep. If we take a little trip
down the mighty Mississippi.
Yeah. So now, as you can see, we're flying back over toward Red Feather, and there's that blue tent. That's where our video reception system is. So yeah, we're a pretty good ways away, and we're through an earth berm, and yet we still have pretty good stuff.
Stop right there, Jay, and turn left.
Turn left. Whoop.
Yep, and just show them zone 1. There you go. There's your zone 1 bays right there.
Yeah. All right, I'm getting some rain here, and also some rain kind of on the drone camera. So please pardon the aggressive flying while I get back to to safety.
Jay, how you doing?
All right, so we're going to be back at 3:45.
Probably a little bit earlier than that, but we'll try and keep you posted.
There you go. Yeah, maybe anywhere from 3:15 to 3:30. We'll be going live again, but look for the post.
Well, thank you for watching this first segment. We will see you next time, and this has been Practical Shooting Live, actually live for the first time.
We'll see you in just a little bit.